Hey, Wolfpack fans, welcome to Ramey's Pregame Pod. We are in Boise. It is Nevada, 3-7, 0-4 in the Mountain West, taking on number 12 Boise State. The Broncos 7-1 overall, 4-0 in the Mountain West, with Ashton Jeanty, the Heisman frontrunner, according to many, leading the attack for the Broncos. Tough assignment for the Pack coming up, and I visit right now with Mountain West Insider Terrence Newman. Terrence Newman, this Boise State team is ranked number 12 in the nation. Ashton Jeanty is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate, maybe the favorite right now. You pointed out in a text that
let's point out we were the first ones to start talking about Ashton Jeanty for the Heisman.
And we were early adopters. We were the tip of the spear, 100%. Credit to you. Ashton, what was the stat you said? Ashton Jeanty has a 683-yard lead on the next closest running back in the Mountain West rushing.
I was looking at the numbers, and I was trying to think, how can we put into perspective what he's doing this year? If we were to create a player and give him the stats of the rushing yards, the difference between Ashton Jeanty's rushing yards and the second place in the Mountain West, and the difference between Ashton Jeanty's touchdowns and the running back with the second most touchdowns in the Mountain West, that player that we just created off of those stats, the difference would have 683 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. That's the difference between him and the number 2 running back at those statistics in the conference.
So basically, Savion,
he would lead the Wolfpack in rushing, and he would lead the Wolfpack in touchdowns. This imaginary player we just made up off of the stats that is just the difference between Ashton Jeanty and his closest competitor.
God, that's good, Terrence. That's really good.
That is how good he has been this year. We're seeing something. I don't think we've ever seen a Mountain West player put up a season like this. Not
so
that
Jeanty, right? No, I mean, yeah. Jeanty is at 1,525 yards on 190 carries. He's averaging better than 8 yards a touch.
Yeah.
He's got 20 touchdowns. He's averaging.
John, I could argue that they've been holding him back. Look at his receiving yards this year. Only 14 catches for 81 yards. Look at last year. Last year, he had 43 catches for 569 yards. That's a whole nother aspect of his game that they're not even using this year. I think probably because they're trying to keep him healthy, and he is getting so many more. He's probably, I think, on track for probably about an extra 50 carries than he got last year. So I think they've actually purposely held him back from the passing game. I think there's more to his game that we could be seeing. Didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah.
No, he's averaging better than 190 yards per game, and he's had a couple down games in a row.
Yeah, UNLV was probably his worst game of the year. Still put up 128 yards. But that was the team that's probably held him in check more than anybody this so far.
Nevada didn't play Boise State last year. 2 seasons ago, Boise State beat Nevada on the 12th of November, 41-3. Boise State leads the all-time series 31-14. Nevada's won only twice in Boise, and they've lost 18 times. So this will be the 21st all-time meeting in Boise, with the Broncos leading the series in Boise 18-2. Any way you look at it, this is an extremely tough assignment for a Wolfpack team that is starved for a positive result. Terrence, they started the year 3-4, and the expectations have expanded internally and externally, I would say, because of what Jeff Choate has been able to instill in this roster. But now 3 straight losses. And I mean, going to Boise, number 12 in the nation, like you start to really feel for the Wolfpack players who have had tastes of success and are now kind of in this successless desert of the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, they're in a tough spot this week. I mean, this is if they were a boxer, they've been getting beat up pretty rough the last couple of rounds, and they still got to come out for another round, and and the guy they got in the other corner is fresh and ready to go. I mean, the expectations were getting ratcheted up because they were playing really, really solid ball. Despite some of the close losses, you could see in the way they were playing that there was a team that was getting better. They were believing in themselves. They had a strategy. They had some sort of philosophy to their offensive game plan,
Had an
and then
identity.
they had an identity. And then it just something happened at halftime of Fresno
Fresno
State,
State. Yeah.
and they've just been in a funk ever since. And it continued at Hawaii, and you would hope that they would have bounced out of it coming back home against Colorado State, but it really wasn't there. Yeah. And this is a tough one. National TV. This is a game where Ashton Jeanty's gonna want to have a Heisman type moment. This is probably uh the game he'll have more eyeballs on just due to the fact that it is the national game on Fox than any other game he's had this year. He's gonna want to put up some stats. This is gonna be a tough assignment because you got a team that's gonna want to come out and especially now with the playoff expanded, they're trying to position themselves to possibly even get a first round bye. As crazy as that sounds,
That does
because
sound crazy.
it is the four. People always get this confused. A lot of people always think the first round buys go to the conference champs of the Power Four conferences, but that's not it. It's the four highest ranked conference champs. So right now, I think they're only a couple of spots behind BYU. So they're Boise State's hungry to put up some style points. Really put on a show for the voters out there, Heisman and playoff wise. And that's a tough situation for Nevada to be in.
Boise State 7-1 overall, 4-0 in the Mountain West. Their only loss came on the 7th of September. They lost by 3 at Oregon, 37-34. That's about as good a loss as you could ever hope to have this year, and it's the only loss.
Yeah.
12th
It's
in the nation.
comparable to Ohio State's loss. They played
Right.
Oregon as well as Ohio State did.
So yeah, this is a team with national playoff plans, not aspirations. They're dead set on it. And
I think they're dead set on it, and not just getting there. I don't think getting there is going to be good enough for boys. I think they're planning on getting there and winning a game or two, and they're good enough to.
so let's talk about how they're good enough too. They average 409 yards per game in total offense. That is clearly the best in the Mountain West and fourth best in the nation. And with Ashton Jeanty at the forefront of the rushing game, they're averaging 268 yards on the ground, 241 yards through the air. I mean, perfect balance. They're averaging nearly 46 points per game, and they give up 26 points per game. Not quite 26 points per game.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about Nevada. I mean, the Pack is going to have to play the packest game ever to just play keep away, right? Nevada needs multiple drives of like 7 minutes. And Nevada, despite not playing well the last 2.5 games, still is the top time of possession team in the Mountain West. They're just going to have to hold the ball, right? And try to win it like 13-10 or something.
I mean, the best way they could probably stop Ashton Jeanty is to keep Ashton Jeanty off the field.
Right.
And so yeah, they're gonna have to control the clock, run the ball. They're really gonna have to focus on keeping Belu or whoever's playing quarterback upright.
Oh my God. You've
Boise
seen the
State
stat
gets
total.
after. They get after the quarterback. 4 out of the top 10 guys in sacks in the Mountain West play for Boise State. Okay. We got Jaden Virgin Morgan, 8 sacks, second in the conference. Ahmed Hassanin is a senior, 7.5 sacks. He's third in the conference. And honestly, his numbers are kind of misleading. Because he's an NFL guy.
Yeah,
he's a legit. I mean, he's a stud. And the reason I think Jaden Virgin Morgan's numbers are so high is because so much attention gets put on Ahmed, and the fact that he still has 7.5 sacks this year knowing that he's getting double teamed every game. And then you got on the inside, Braxton Felly, 4.5 sacks from the big defensive tackle. That's 6 in the conference. So yeah, Nevada's going to have to control the clock, but that's a tough defensive line. You're going to have to run the ball
I
against.
know. 38 sacks in total. They have the high coming into the weekend. They had the highest number of sacks per game on average, 4.75 of anybody in the nation. So yeah, Nevada's going
Yeah,
to
they
need to
get
run
up on you early. They put
Yeah,
you in the position where you have to throw,
you have to
and
throw.
then they just pin their ears back. And like I said, so much attention is getting pushed to Ahmed Hassanin that it's just single blocking for the rest of the guys on the defensive line, so the rest of the guys can just eat.
So you've got to, if you're Nevada, you've got to run the ball so you're not in third and long all the time.
If they're in
That's the
third
what.
and long,
Yeah,
this is it's going to be an ugly score. If there's a lot of third and long, they need a lot of 3rd and 2,
yeah.
3rd and 1.
Remember way back to the season preview when you weren't entirely sure about the Boise State quarterback situation?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Talk to me about your feelings on Maddox Madsen now, the starting quarterback, who's completing 64% of his passes and is throwing 17 touchdown passes against only 2 interceptions. I mean, have you evolved on Maddox Madsen as a big-time quarterback?
uh, look, he does
They're
his
7-1,
job.
Terrence. He does his job. That's
He
right.
does his, in the words of Denny Green, he is who he thought he was, which is a good game managing
Are
quarterback.
you calling him Trent Dilfer?
Look, he doesn't turn the ball over. The
That's
most
important.
important stat he has is the 2 interceptions.
It's a great stat.
He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't hurt the team. But like I said, they don't win because of him. They win because of Ashton Jeanty. Everything around that offense starts and flows from him. So what he does is he does a good job of not screwing that up. If the and that doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. And that doesn't mean he's a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. But at the same time, they wouldn't have brought in Malachi Nelson and given him a whole bunch of NIL in the transfer portal last year if they were
Sure.
sold on him. And so he won out that competition, and he has done the job.
Boise State coming down the stretch. They got Nevada at home. Obviously, you're
I wouldn't put
listening
him
to this
above
on
B. Lou.
Saturday. You
I
wouldn't
think
put him
Brandon
above
Lewis
B.
is.
Lou. Okay.
I would
All right.
not. I
All
think
right.
I think if you had a quarterback like Brandon Lewis on Boise State's team with Ashton Jeanty, and you had the 2 of them running, that offense would be even more dynamic.
Noted. Let's look at their after today against Nevada. They have at San Jose State, at Wyoming, home against Oregon State. That's not a cupcake laden stretch run. At San Jose State will be tough. At Wyoming shouldn't be tough, but it's still a road conference game. And then Oregon State in Boise, a game they should win.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I think they're going to win out.
They're going to win out.
I think they're
You
going to win
calling your
out. I don't.
shot?
Yeah, I do. I don't think anybody on that schedule is going to give them too much trouble.
Okay.
I think Ashton Jeanty is going to be on a mission to get to 2,000 yards and then as far above that as possible. Barry Sanders is out of reach. He's not getting there, but over that 4-game stretch, I wouldn't be surprised if he's coming at it averaging something like 180 yards a game, 200 yards a game over this stretch. They're going to be pushing pedal to the floor as we get going towards the playoffs. So yeah, Oregon State game might be kind of interesting. San Jose State game could be fun, could be interesting.
Wyoming's not going to trouble them.
Wyoming's not going to trouble them.
If you were coaching Nevada's defense, what would you tell them about slowing down Ashton Jeanty? Like we know what's that?
Wrap up. I've never seen a running back his size just bounce off of guys. And guys come in, they hit him, but they know that, but they can't get their arms around him, and he's got a way of just bouncing right off of him. His yards after contact is insane. Um, so yeah, that's the key. Is the first guy that gets there has to stay on him. If you can't bring him down, you at least need to wrap up and stay on him, slow him down enough to where the second and third guy can bring him down. But yeah, the way he just is able to maintain his balance, his low center of gravity to the ground. When you hit him, it's it's not like a big tower where he just all falls over. He's got that sturdy base, so he can kind of absorb it, and guys just bounce off him. So the most important thing is you got to wrap him up. You got to find a way to stop those big legs from churning.
What about Nevada? They've got a bye after this week, their second bye, and then home against Air Force and at UNLV. So this is Nevada's third remaining game of the season. Because there's a bye after this, does that change anything? Does that make does that avail different things to Choate, or is this just a situation where Nevada has to put together better performances just for the belief in the program?
I mean, this is a measuring stick game to see where we're at. 3 quarters through the season as the program. Because you're going up against the measuring stick. This is the best team in the conference. And they have been. This has been the brand for a long time. So this is where Nevada wants to get. So it's good to be able to compare, see where you're at in the journey and in the process, see how far you got to go. It's nice having that bye week because let's be honest, probably gonna be kind of bruised up after this one. This is going to be a hard hitting game, If Nevada can find a way to keep it close, this is going to be a very hard hitting in the trenches running the ball type game. So luckily you do have a bye week. So if there are some injuries, guys can kind of heal up, even this late in the year, guys are just worn out. They're just kind of tired. It takes a toll on your body. So usually you don't get a bye week this late in the year. So I think that is kind of nice to have that bye week so they can kind of recharge, regroup, let the confidence build back up again, and then just focus on just ending strong because Air Force game should be a win. That should be a win for the Pack. And then you know what? You never know. If you can beat up Air Force bad, build some momentum, and then go into that rivalry game. And like they say, in the rivalry game, throw the records out. And try to end this season on a real positive note by making sure that UNLV ends their season on a real sour note.
All right. Any other thoughts about the Boise State matchup?
It should be a good one. Hold on to your butts, Nevada. It's like I said, it's gonna be a good measuring stick game. It might look a little ugly. So don't focus too much on the score.
Is it an important part of the process in year one for Jeff Choate?
Yes. Yes. First off, getting that for most of these guys, this is gonna be their first game on national TV, probably ever. Just the excitement of that, getting that out of the way, that's a big step for a program. That's something he wants his players to get used to, get used to the feeling of, hey, we're the prime time game, because it's a different atmosphere, that noon kickoff as opposed to that 5 p.m. kickoff. So just the jitters of that, going up against a guy as renowned as Ashton Jeanty, going up against the Heisman candidate. Yeah, you want to measure yourself against the best. You want to see where you stack up against the best, and it might not stack up as high as you'd like, but you want to know where you're at, so you know where you need to go, what you need to do to get there. So, yeah.
He is Mountain West Insider Terrence Newman. We record this Friday night. It will drop Saturday morning. Nevada plays at Boise State Saturday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific. It airs on Fox. You can listen to Mike Edwards and me on 105.7 FM. Our Bud Light Tailgate Show starts at 4 p.m. Pacific. Kickoff at 5 o'clock Pacific time. Nevada at number 12, Boise State. Hope you have enjoyed Ramey's pregame pod. Listen to Mike and me, and we'll look forward to visiting with you soon. Peace.